And I'll even try to stand behind the podium just for Al. I'm just going to jump around a little bit so I can keep it really brief. But in regards to the questions about preparation for the city and the county, of course, the fire department responds without, any discretion to both areas. We are, though, part of the planning team with the city. I am not speaking for the city or a rep of the city, but I just want you to know that the city is pre-identifying areas where the potential risks are, and as the fire department, of course, we're coordinating with them. And as Mark indicated, we're working very closely with County Public Works. In terms of unified command, we've done this a lot, responding to mud and debris flows before something actually happens. So, for instance, in the case of the station fire, our incident commanders gather in unified command. So, incident commander from Public Works, incident commander from Fire Department, and incident commander from Sheriff's Department work in coordination, and we're watching, let's say the National Weather Service is predicting something like 2 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. We'll gather together before anything happens. DPW, as Mark indicated, has their folks out, their patrols out. We do the same thing. We have our fire department patrols out surveying the areas and also looking for hazardous areas and things that we might need to respond to. So I just wanted to let you all know that the agencies know each other very well. The players know each other very well. We know what our resources are. We know how to respond. We're sitting in a command post and we're hearing what the debris basins are doing or what the burn areas are doing, and we're making decisions about evacuations based on that incoming information. More than likely, somebody said, will there be a flood? More than likely, if the El Nino is what is being predicted, we're going to have some challenges. What the magnitude of those challenges are hard to predict. And going to that same point, we'll call for evacuations and closures as we see the threat coming. But unlike fire, which is, dare I say, a little bit easier to predict because we know what we know what the fuels are. We know what the wind direction is, which of course can change. We know where the fire's headed. We can evacuate well in front of the fire. Sometimes rain is difficult to do that. So all we would ask from the community is that we have to make predictions based on what we believe is coming, and sometimes those pan out and sometimes they don't. In the case of the station fire, following the station fire in the La Cañada, the foothill communities, La Crescenta area, we evacuated many, many times and nothing happened. It was very frustrating to residents, and we really totally understand that. And then in one instance, when we were taking information and intelligence from the Weather Service and our weather behavior experts, we did not evacuate, and the cell went in a different direction and actually caused some damage to homes, and we actually did have to rescue some people from mud and debris. So it's a touchy science. But just know that the planning is happening with the county, with the city, and areas are being identified, resources are being already staged in those rain events like we do in fire weather events. And tomorrow morning, for instance, for fire weather, we have augmented staffing and extra firefighters on duty from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. We'll do the same thing with rain conditions. We know heavy rains are coming in. We're gonna augment our staffing. We're gonna put more firefighters in the stations than we normally have on a regular day, and we're prepared for those incidents. I'm going to go down real quick. Al, I sent you this on email. The flyers that I brought these, Mark brought these. Please pick these up. I mean, DPW, Department of Public Works, has done a fantastic job of giving you so much information, so many contact phone numbers, so many ways to get information in an emergency. Our fire department website has the same information. But Al, if you want to post this flyer, it's really a fantastic piece. Sandbags and sand. If you go to get this flyer, or just Google Department of Public Works, LA County. You'll see a link for sandbags. On the link, there's phone numbers. call that phone number first and make sure the station or those various locations have the sand and sandbags, because they're going very quickly. Don't assume, we're replenishing them as we can, but don't assume that they're there. We don't fill the sandbags for you. You have to bring your shovel and fill them. It's a lot of work. So I just wanted to clarify, they will, the limit is we request 25, but you're not going to walk up and firefighters are not going to run out and fill sandbags, or we'd have full-time firefighters doing that job. If you see anything, please call 911. If you think something's happening in a mud and debris flow, you see something falling from the hillsides, light mud, light debris, call. We're more than happy to go check that out and to make sure that something's not being jeopardized and that something's not going to collapse, you know, that's going to turn into a heavier situation. Let me look down my list here. Our local fire stations know what their jurisdictional risks are. So again, going back, sir, I think to your question about what are we doing to plan, believe me, there's massive planning in the works. As Mark indicated, you know, they're watching their flood control channels and their debris basins. The fire department's doing the same thing. The city's mitigating the same way. And again, I'm not speaking for the city. It's just that we're part of their team communicating with their folks that are. The city has a really great website, too, if you want to look at their website for mud and debris flow and El Nino site. And then Mark gave some good tips. Even 2 inches of moving water, don't drive through it. It's so much worse than it looks. Hang on, just looking down my list. I'm promising Al I'll be quick. Just very quickly, I talk about this a lot, but in case someone here hasn't heard this spiel before, the fire department is well prepared. We have urban search and rescue teams. We have heavy equipment teams with cranes and dozers. We have dozers here in Santa Clarita ready to respond to floods or fires as needed. We have swift water teams. So you're in a great situation. We're all in great shape with the services that the county provides. There's a great team, and I cannot speak highly enough of the preparation that DPW has provided. So don't walk out the door without these pieces of literature. It's everything that you possibly need. And as Mark indicated, get your emergency kits packed now and include a battery-operated radio. Any questions for me? I think that was 5 minutes, maybe, right? Did I do good? Okay. Have a great night.